Now I'm betting since you're watching this video that you're wondering if picking up some of these LED lanterns is a bright idea. And I tell you what, I'm going to go through a little bit of information with you, tell you some pros and cons, and at the end of this video, I'm going to let you know if I thought this was a bright idea. Stick with me. Now these LED lanterns, I would say a well-presented box. They do boast the 146 lumens, which we'll talk about that here in a minute. And they do come in these 4 different colors. Now on the Amazon website, I think if you read the description, it actually says that the colors come in, I think, a bright yellow and a hot pink. Well, that's not true. Again, the company that makes these and sells these on Amazon, I think right now currently for about $25, is called MalloMe, if I pronounce it correctly. Now, first of all, I do want to make a disclaimer here. I in no way have received these at a discounted price or even at a free, for that matter. Now, I know a lot of people do reviews because they've been sent these for free or a discounted price in exchange for their honest, unbiased review. Number one, I don't buy that. People that have reviewed these type of products, or any products for that matter, and have paid their own money for, I'm more apt to believe what they have to say than somebody who's been getting tons of free product, so that they'll give it a positive review. So anyway, I haven't been given a discount. I certainly didn't get these for free. I paid my own money for it, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts. Let's get on with the overview. Now again, these do come in a 4 count. I'm holding one of them. You've got the rest of them right up here. And 4 different colors, so not that the color matters, but it gives it a little bit of flavor, and I appreciate that. The build of these guys is plastic, but that lends itself to a lighter product, right? And plastic isn't always bad. The plastics that we have today aren't like the plastics 20-25 years ago, and the way that they mold these today and the different types of properties that they have in it lends itself to a stronger plastic. Now, no way am I saying that these are indestructible, and I'm sorry, but I can't give you a drop test to find that out because so far I seem to enjoy them. Again, these guys boast 146 lumens. Now that sounds pretty good, right? This one right here has a full set of batteries. Okay, I just put batteries in it before I did this review, in fact. And right here I have just a simple Ozark, well, I don't want to call it simple. I think they make good things. Ozark Trail. Little camp light that boasts 75 lumens. So if I click this guy on at his brightest setting and I set these guys side by side, especially on the camera, now the camera is going to pick up light, but you can tell it. I think you can tell that these are really close. I mean, there's really not a whole lot difference between the 2 lights here. If I put them close up to me, I don't think it really matters. If I hold them apart, I think you're seeing that the lighting on is pretty close. Now, I don't really know how all the engineering goes into it and how the lights bounce off the reflective parts of it and yada yada, but this guy has 4 LEDs in it and this guy has 6 of them. And in this particular one that I'm holding, all 6 of them do work, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Or I may have included it into a different section of my video. But anyways, there you go. So 75 lumens, 146 lumens. Now some of us more patriotic folks, these guys are made in China. And I have to be honest with you, I'm kind of getting frustrated with everything being made in China. I do like to make American, or not to make it, I do like to buy American-made products. I do like to support, the local businesses, and unfortunately these are a little bit more expensive when you buy them in the United States than if you did over China. So I think what China does, they ship them in here, of course, and local people sell them, and it's just more money, right? But enough of that. I have bought Chinese stuff before, and a lot of things I don't have a problem with, and these guys seem to be well built. Now they do obviously boast that this is a 360-degree light, obviously, so no matter where you set it, all different directions of this guy are you gonna benefit from the light. Now the only thing about it is if you're gonna try to double this guy and carry him around like this as you're walking, you're also gonna get some of that light refracted into your face, which can be very uncomfortable because then you can't see what's out in front of you. So if you just kind of cup it like this and hold it out like this, then you're going to be okay. You should be able to use it like a flashlight without catching all that into your eye. Simple fix. Now one of the coolest features about these is that they have no buttons to them, right? There's no on switch like you have like on the Ozark one, who has a little click switch to set the high, the high and the low. These guys are collapsible. So, which means just that. You just collapse it to turn it off. Now, when you pull this guy up just a little bit, you'll hear a click, and he's on. So let me see if you can see that. Pull it up just a little bit, and click, he's on. And then, of course, the collapsible feature of it is how you make it either brighter or dimmer, just however you see fit or what's ever appropriate for the situation. You'd have to be because if I carry this like that and I just have to go down the stairs a little bit, I can shake him open with not a lot of effort, which is what you want. You don't want it to be very difficult to open these guys up. But if you're concerned about that in your pack or whatever you're doing, you might just lay these guys down and just maybe stick a rubber band over it. Solves the problem pretty easily. Now, these guys do boast that these LEDs will last over 100,000 hours, which is what we've come to expect from LEDs. They're supposed to last forever. And I think the bigger part of this equation is the type of batteries, whether it's AAA or AA's, in which these happen to hold 3 AA's. Now, the one that you see up here on the right that I probably mentioned earlier in the video, and I believe it's this guy over here, we've actually left this one on for it's over 16 hours now on the same set of batteries. And you can tell from this guy's got a fresh battery in him, but this guy over here actually has 16 hours worth of use on him. So you can tell he's a lot more dim, but he's still putting off the light. So you can easily make this on like a three-day camping trip or something like that, or even around the house if you just use it for emergencies. It's going to last a while even with those set of batteries. Now again, these guys do say that the satisfaction is guaranteed. Now I'm fixing to find that out firsthand because one of mine, which hopefully I've showed in the video for you guys, is one of the LEDs is clicking on and off. On and off. There we go. On and then off. And then on and then off. And that's kind of a little bit annoying. It's not a huge deal, and it's really not a deal breaker, except that it's, you know, for a couple seconds, every so often you're losing just a little bit of light. And so I think that if I pay for something brand new, I want them all to work just right. And I have contacted the company through Amazon. They've been very nice so far. They want me to send them a picture. Again, I'm going to do all that stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to let you guys know how that turned out, because that's important. If you're going to tell me satisfaction guaranteed, I better be darn guaranteed that I'm going to be satisfied. Anyway. Now, some of you may be wondering about the dimensions of this, and of course, let's break out the old ruler. If I put the ruler on, well, let's flip it the right way. And I'm going to try to hold this flat as I can, and you're going to actually see that this guy is somewhere around the 5-inch mark, closed up. Now, if he's fully expanded, and hopefully this doesn't block it out with the light in there, I'll try to bring it up. You're looking at right about 7 inches tall, with it being opened, and then of course the circumference of this bad boy, and we'll try to get it as close as we can get her, somewhere around 3 3¼ depending on the part of the light that you're putting that on. I'm going to take you into a low light setting or a pitch black setting. So I found the darkest room in my house, which just happens to be my utility room, and I wanted to set these up and turn it on and kind of let you see how well or not well the place is lit. Now, the one that you're looking at right now is the one that has had the 16 hours or more of use to it. And so here's what it's doing. Here's how it's lighting it up. Of course, you know, you're not going to be able to see it. Cameras aren't going to pick it up as well as I'm seeing it, whereas you and I would see it, because right now I'm pointing over to some clothes. I can see the clothes very well, but of course on the camera, I don't believe it's going to pick it up as well as I'd hope to. But anyways, this is the one that is has more than 16 hours worth of use on it. I'm going to close that one up. And now you can't see anything, and then I'm going to shake this one open, try to extend it with one hand if I can. Okay, this guy's the one that has a brand new full set of batteries, and if I look over here now, you can actually see a little bit more of the clothes that you couldn't before. It's definitely a noticeable difference over here by the hot water heater and some of the clothes hanging up. So this is a fresh set of batteries, and it really lights up the room quite well, if you see that. So again, this is what they boast at 146 lumens, I believe. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this one off, which is the MalloMe LED Lanterns, and I'm going to bring in this Ozark Trail that I compared to before, which only boasts about 75 lumens, but I say is very comparable in light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this one off, get out of the way, turn on the Ozark Trail one, and also turn over here to where the clothes and stuff are so you can kind of see. And I don't know, guys, it's possible that the Ozark Trail one pulls or lights it up a little bit better. But I'm gonna let that be for you guys to judge there. And this really isn't a comparison video, but honestly, how good can we tell these LED lanterns work if we don't have something to compare it to? But again, the Ozark Trail ones is a little bit more expensive. And honestly, if you think about it, let's look at this real quick. Let me open this guy up real full. This is something to take into consideration. There we go. When you look at these two lights, the MalloMe one over here is more comfortable to look at. This one, pretty hard on the eye. So if it's anywhere with an eye shot, it's going to be a very uncomfortable light to look at. It's going to light the area up. This one's going to be a softer one. I don't know, for some reason the way that it spreads the light or whatever it is going to be pretty comfortable as well. So anyways, great both lights, but this overview was on the purchase of these LED lanterns by MalloMe, and I wanted to show you how that looked. Of course, in dark light situations. So, all right. So I've done kind of about it. Things that are obvious, things that might not be so obvious, and now I want to talk about what are some of the pros for it. Let's go over the pros and the cons, and then I'm going to give you my final conclusion. Now, the pros of this, guys, in my opinion, is the fact that it is what I would call packable. It's not the smallest. Obviously, it's not the smallest. So they tend to be a little bit bulky, and depending on how many you plan on taking, well, you got a little bit of size there, but they are packable. Now, they're very light, obviously without the batteries, and when you put the batteries in there, they weigh a little bit, and I don't necessarily have a scale to weigh that, but they do have a little bit of heft to them, but again, they're still packable. And some of the uses that you get for something being so packable is you could easily store it under a bed, you could put it under a kitchen sink. If you were going to use it for like weather emergencies, or lights go out, or you know, as a backup if your generator isn't working, or maybe you just want to use it as a light. You know, say you're walking from your bed in the middle of the night to go to the restroom or something, you can pull one of these guys up and use it like that. They're easily stored away, and they don't take up much room. Definitely a good. Now, what you could use this for, obviously, is you could use this for book reading, possibly, if you weren't putting it right in eye shot, because again, it is a 360-degree light. You can also use it as a night light, I guess, if you wanted to go through the batteries like that. You could use it if you were working under a car, possibly. Under there, I think it'd be robust enough to bring under the car with you. And of course, at $6 a light, that's not that big of a deal if something happens to it. Now, these LED are probably good for camping and backpacking. Again, they don't weigh that much, and they wouldn't take up very much room, and that's a bonus. That's a plus. That's what we're looking at when we're going kayak camping and things of that nature. Now, some of the other positives that you'd have for these type of lights is they're always cool to the touch because they're LED. So you're not going to have to worry about burning yourself, and you're not going to have to worry about any type of a fire risk like you might if you had the propane lanterns, which I have one of those as well, or something similar to that, which, you know, if you were going to camp out in a tent and you wanted to bring one of these little guys to just sit on the floor and have, maybe you're camping in the winter and of course it gets darker sooner and you want to use one of these lights in your tent, you don't have to worry about kicking it over, or spilling anything out of it, or even getting burnt on it. Especially if you were camping with a family, maybe you have little ones in there with you. And I think that always comes into play, that concern about being burned or something catching fire and, you know, so on. You mentioned that already with just bringing these guys up. Now, they don't have like a little carabiner on top like the Ozark Trail one does, so you can clip them easily. So you would have to run, you know, maybe a line through that, or just add a carabiner onto this, and you'll have that clipping feature. I'm gonna talk about some. First thing that I noticed before I bought these is the fact that they weren't waterproof, or at least they didn't claim to be waterproof. Well, and the fact that I do kayak camping, that's what I wanted, was something that was waterproof. And but it's not a deal breaker. The set of these, a 4 for $25. If I did lose one overboard or something, or got tore up from being wet, to me it's worth that risk. It's not a big deal. So it's not like each one of these is $20-25 on their own. The other thing is that it's not rechargeable, so you do have to go through batteries. Now, I did talk about the fact that they did last a while, but you're still going to have to go through them possibly. Now, one workaround for that, and you may have already guessed it, is to buy you some rechargeable AA's, right? If that's something that you want to invest in, then there you go. But lucky for me, I do happen to get 20-pack of AA's at a discounted price through where I work and stuff, so it works out good for me. I've got a lot of them. So this works out perfectly. Ultimately, that's all it is. So I'm going to say there's way more pros than there is cons. And when you take the price into consideration, like I said, for $25, those cons become very minimal. Again, these were something that when I looked at, the price was right, the quantity was right, but the fact that it puts out great light. I think it puts out great light. It's certainly enough for what I need, and I've got 4 of them if I need the quantity. So overall, do I think this is a bright idea for the purchase? I definitely do. Also, the fact that the company's been in touch with me over the one that is losing its LEDs popping in now, which I think is very rare. They said it was rare as well, but I believe they're going to make it right. I just kind of have that feeling. But if they don't, I'll be sure to let you guys know and probably have to amend my review. But as it stands at this point in this overview, should I call it, not necessarily a review, that'll come as I use it over time in the field and see how much years I can get out of it. But as it stands right now, I think it's a bright buy. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I certainly appreciate it. If you got any questions about them, let me know. I'm going to try to put the link in the description, and go get you some.